What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, guys. We're back here in Finland, and we in Helsinki, Finland. That a happy place. Helsinki, Finland. I believe Finland in general, I think it's one of the happiest places in the world to live. I can't remember if it's number one or top three. It's top three or top five or something like that. Might be right at number one, but we in Helsinki with it. This video, it look old, but I think it was posted like maybe a year ago, a couple of months ago. But the visual, I mean, at least from this, it look old right now. But we finna check this out. Shout out to Finland. And yeah, a happy place. Let's see how happy it is.
The world's happiest people live in Finland, according to many surveys. So let's take a look at Helsinki, the capital, to find out what's going on here. Why are these people so happy? The Finns will say it's more a matter of being content, being satisfied with their lives, rather than giddy, haha, happy all the time. And that's because their society functions very well. The economy is strong, the educational levels are very high, there's a decent level of economic equality, and the society provides services such as health and medical and retirement, and cleaning up the cities and maintaining the infrastructure that makes everything work beautifully together.
What in the world?
So the residents are very happy about all of that.
Lazy days.
Of course, they do pay high taxes, but generally have a
that person is enthused about cats. But like you said, I can see, I think being content with life, you know, not trying to live above your means and think you gotta have this and that. I think that's what creates a happy life. Because sometimes I think most people, they got something good at home, but when you're looking everywhere else, you don't appreciate what you have at home.
About all of that. Of course, they do pay high taxes, but generally have a trust in the government and feel like the money is being pretty well spent on the society. Another reason why their life is good is the city is a beautiful place. It has lovely buildings, it's nicely designed, plenty of sidewalk cafes and outdoor activities for those warm summer months, good streets, lots of bicycle paths, pedestrian areas, with enough urban density to provide those walkable neighborhoods and shops and cafes nearby, but it's not crowded. Helsinki's town planners have done such an excellent job of creating a livable city that it was praised at one time by the Harvard Architectural Digest as the best designed city in Europe.
Wow.
This is a relatively small capital
First time I
city
heard that.
With a bit more than 600,000 residents.
But there's an underground metro system and numerous light rail trams
running on the surface along the main street.
This transit system is well utilized because people are not living in the suburban sprawl pattern that we often find in America.
The locals pronounce their city Helsinki.
And here in the States, you know, I talk about the transportation system pretty much all the time, but I found it convenient to not need a car, because now you're responsible for all the maintenance, gas, everything like that. I'm sure in big cities we have transportation, like when it comes to like buses and stuff. But then again, it's like, do you trust that always? Is it always safe here in the States to get on the bus? I feel like people would rather have their own cars.
Helsinki,
well, even though they ain't got a choice.
Call it Helsinki, which is more comfortable for Americans, but in this program, I'll go back and forth. Either way is fine.
It was founded relatively late by European standards in the 17th century, and it was designated as the capital of Finland in only 1812. The small town was initially built of wood and burned down several times, so that nearly all of the buildings that we see today are no more than 200 years old. Relative youngsters by European standards.
200 years old, that's still a long time though. You know,
as a result, we do not have that typical old town feeling with ancient buildings and cobblestone lanes and narrow winding alleyways, or any grand monuments from the Middle Ages or the Renaissance. Instead, we have an attractive modern city that offers the residents and the visitors much to enjoy.
The nation is also quite young, achieving its independence only in 1917. after a century of occupation by Russia, preceded by 650 years of control by Sweden from the mid-12th century.
Oh, wow.
Finland is located between Sweden and Russia, and was often caught in the middle and devastated by the wars between those two larger powers.
Helsinki is continental Europe's most northern and remote capital city, and shares a border with Russia that's 1,300 kilometers long. And we've seen in recent times there's some concerns about that border, but everything is very safe and peaceful in Finland. A free, independent country enjoying one of the world's highest standards of living.
Finland is actually a huge country.
Nice, small.
It's the 6th largest in Europe, but with only 5 million people, it's one of the least crowded nations in the world.
And that's surprising because I actually don't see that many people out on the streets. And like I said, I don't know when this video was made because it could have been a 2020 video. But
because of this concentrated urban center, visitors will find that it's very easy to see the sights of Helsinki on foot. And active pedestrian efforts will be richly rewarded with many fine discoveries. As usual, it's always best to see a European city by walking.
You can discover a lot here in a couple of days.
July is an excellent time to visit because the weather is at its best, the city is not crowded, and hotel rates tend to drop.
Really?
That's because July is the peak month for locals to take their vacations, either at their summer cottages in the Finnish countryside or elsewhere in...
I wonder if that's all of Europe, because when I was looking at some tickets, especially hotels, I was looking at hotel prices in Sweden. They were a little bit on the low end, you know, for a nice good hotel
in Europe, especially on the sunny beaches of the Mediterranean Sea. Business travel also grinds to a halt in July, leaving hotels looking for customers
and lowering their rates to attract the few remaining travelers. All of the scenes in this video were photographed during the month of July, which is when I always bring my groups to visit there. While I tell you a bit more about Helsinki and Finland, I'll continue showing some scenes of the city, focusing for now on Esplanade Park, that most popular green space in the heart of town.
Nice.
During July,
temperatures are quite mild, usually in the 70s.
It look hot out there.
So it does not get hot.
Because Helsinki is so far north, it's nearly as high as Anchorage, Alaska.
At the peak of summer, you get 20 hours of sunshine.
Dang.
There will still be plenty of locals in town for you to mingle with if you so choose. And you'll find that most of them are friendly and fluent in English. And they like spending time outdoors on the streets, in the cafes and parks, enjoying that fleeting good weather. You can imagine when there's 20 hours of sunshine in the middle of summer.
Okay, now this place look crowded right here. This kind of look crowded, but like I said, in July, people have vacation, taking that time off. You expect it to be crowded.
There's also 20 hours of darkness in the middle of winter.
Oh, yeah.
So they truly enjoy taking advantage of the summers.
Got to.
Although Helsinki is in a relatively remote position in northern Europe,
you can get to Estonia.
It's easy to get here by flying, or many people come by ship. Perhaps on a cruise of Scandinavia, or you can come here on a 2-hour ferry ride from Tallinn, Estonia, just across the Gulf of Finland, which is a branch of the Baltic Sea. And from St. Petersburg, Russia, you can take a train, which we have done many times in our trips.
Surprisingly, Finland is not part of Scandinavia, nor are they related ethnically to the Slavic people of Russia, which borders them to the east. Instead, they are grouped with Scandinavia as Nordic cultures. Somehow the Finnish language is most closely related to Hungarian, although it's really not clear how this happened. The two main ethnic groups in the country are Finnish and Swedish, so the country has two official languages.
And I seen on that little map, it looked like they could probably boat across right to Stockholm as well, and you got Estonia right there, so maybe 2-hour ferry rides both
languages.
ways.
With many street signs labeled with both Finnish and Swedish.
Ah,
But 88% of Helsinki natives speak Finnish as their first language.
And nearly all of them speak fluent English. You'll have no trouble communicating
That's a good thing.
with the Finnish people. Children begin their schooling in kindergarten, and by age 9, they start foreign language training, with French and
That's
German
good.
currently the most popular choices.
I think that's a good thing because they didn't give us a foreign language option until we got to high school. So we 14, it depends on how old you're, 14, 15 years old when you start learning a new language. Because I think we could take Spanish in middle school, but I wasn't trying to learn Spanish. I was trying to play sports. Because that was the first year we could play sports and stuff outside of like Pee Wee League. So we were trying to play sports. We wasn't worried about speaking Spanish or nothing, because that was the only option. But we got to high school, we only had 2 options still, Spanish or German. That was it.
English had been the #1 preference until Finland's entry into the European Union. At age 13, students who speak Finnish as their first language start learning Swedish,
Oh, wow.
and vice versa. By age 14, most students begin learning a 4th language.
Thanks partly to the excellent education system, Finland has one of the strongest economies in the world,
Nice.
recently ranked as number 2 for competitiveness, and they're in the world's top 10 for good environmental policies. Finland is the first
Greenpeace.
country in the world to prepare plans for a national circular economy. Have you heard of that? Circular economy? It's basically recycling, reusing, repairing, lower consumption, protecting the environment from climate change, pollution, waste, and loss
Good
of
on you, Finland. Good
biodiversity.
on you.
Finland does have the highest income tax in the developed world, averaging 57%,
57?
and also among the highest sales taxes, 24%. But the people of the country get a lot for that money. For example, the government provides a generous child care benefit.
That's good.
That's another reason why people here are so happy. Well, this has been our general intro.
I think that child care, I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing when parents, if you got kids, the government say, hey, we're going to help take care of these kids. No kids should be hungry. No kids should be, without clothing and stuff. We're going to help these parents. Because I know here in the States, they did it for COVID. But it's like, it was something, it made sense for it to be something that they should have been doing from the start, for a long time ago. Because we have so many kids that go without clothing, without food and stuff like that. Like, I worked in education, and I couldn't tell you how many times, like, it's sad seeing kids, they eat breakfast and lunch at school, and that was probably their last meal until they came back to school. So it's like, our government should be doing that, like, take care of the future. Us being adults and stuff, we had an opportunity to go work and stuff, but take care of the kids, take care of the future, and help them.
Introduction to Helsinki and Finland. And we have another movie that's a city tour of Helsinki.
Oh.
So be sure to look for that one in our collection.
I need to check
We'll
that
show
one out.
you the
What is
great
that?
monument to Sibelius, the
Wow, that
church
was
in
cool.
the rock,
Church in the
Senate
rock.
Square
It
with
was
the
really
great
in the rock.
Helsinki Cathedral and government
Cathedral.
buildings, the modern art museum of Kiasma, some fine dining at classy restaurants, the
bougie.
fabulous shopping
Fancy.
malls of town, and more of the city, including downtown and the department store Stockman. And we'll take you over to the hip design district. You'll find that Helsinki is an excellent place to visit.
Nice.
We have many more movies about Scandinavia
I need to
and
check
the
this
rest
out.
of Europe in our collection. Be sure to take a look.
Thanks, Dennis.
We frequently upload new movies, so
Yeah, I need to check this out. Helsinki. Thanks, Dennis. I'm going to subscribe. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Dennis. I thought this was good. Definitely going to check out these other ones so I can see a little bit more of the walking tour and stuff. Helsinki, Finland. But, if you're from Finland and you got some other places you would like for me to visit, hey, send them down below and I'll definitely check them out, man. I just like seeing different places, new places, because the world is different. And I don't want to, limit myself. And I think it's beneficial for me to learn places before you go to places. So it's always a good thing. But guys, that's all I have. Y'all make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Send down those recommendations. Y'all be blessed, be the best, and be you. I'm out.